One for the Radio is a song that I had written at home when I think we're making Wonderland or Motion in the Ocean. Sometimes you have to pick the right moment to show a song to people. And with One for the Radio, I just picked the wrong time to show the guys. And it just didn't go down very. It wasn't that they hated it; it just didn't go down very well. And it was like in amongst like a load of other songs. And
I probably got the timelines completely wrong, but yeah, if Tom had this song for a while, I remember talking about having like some sort of angsty song that brought a togetherness kind of to the crowd as well. And maybe that's where Tom's like, "Oh, I showed you one a while ago and you didn't like it," or it just never got mentioned.
So One for the Radio, much like Five Colours in Her Hair. What other good examples? Like Party Girl, I guess. Like, were never songs that we thought were like going to be singles. They were just like, oh yeah, that's a good song. We'll do that one. But it was one of those ones that when we recorded it, it came out sounding like great. Like it's like whoa. Like it just sounded great.
You know, sometimes there can be like a huge reaction to the last album we've done that you get kind of like sick of playing that style of music, so you start exploring other things. I don't remember there being that going into Radioactive, so it's kind of weird that we ended up all collectively being on the same page at the same time. Maybe we'd done a bunch of touring, maybe just before that. So like when you're playing live loads, you've really got a clear image of like what it is your music does. Not just like the radio and TV and promo and all of that, like what actually goes down better live and what's really fun to play.
It was really weird because everyone was like, "Wow, that's such a good song! That's amazing!" And like, it's the perfect song we need. And I was like, "Yeah, well, I did play this to you like 2 years ago, and no one liked it." But yeah, thankfully, everyone. I obviously did a much better job the second time around at selling the song. Everyone kind of jumped on it, and it just felt like the kind of right song to lead that whole album campaign and kick things off.
It's certainly like probably the first time we actually said something in a song.
I think we were from the band, this target band that would get slagged off by people, and like people would give us shit, you know, and so I think the lyrics were really sort of addressing that, and you know, there was a bit of like, for the first time, a bit of angst.
When we were putting together Radioactive, the album, we had gone independent from our record label, and we just knew it was a chance for us to really, for the first time, actually make the album we wanted to make with no one else, like no other involvement. There was no one else around that could possibly get in the way of like whatever the vision was for this album. We would only have ourselves to blame. And so we were writing, you know, these songs like Lies and Everybody Knows and POV, and these songs that just had this kind of, you know, slightly heavier feel to what we'd done before.
That's the thing that's great about McFly, but also makes it hard about McFly, is it's four people that connect and unite, but have four very different kind of voices and influences and stuff. And so, but I think, you know, you can see from all our albums, they're all very different. But this one, I felt like Radioactive was the time that we were most kind of, you know, connected and on the kind of same page. At the same right time in our lives, the right sound, you know, for our band at the time, it all just kind of clicked.
How we got to Australia though, I don't know. Or how we even ended up at that idea, but it's probably the best idea anyone has ever had.
You know, back then we were, you know, four lads that, you know, don't really have family responsibilities. So you just had all the time in the world, and what better way to do it than go away and just take yourself away from your life.
I think being out in the sun, being somewhere completely different, kind of added to the excitement of like every day driving into the studio over Sydney Harbour Bridge and seeing the ocean, and it didn't ever feel like you were going into work.
For a chorus.
What's the last lyric? Chorus?
We all look the same in the dark.
I'd never been to Australia, but it looked great in January, February. This would be a really good idea to kind of mix things up a bit, because the studios are studios really. It's trying to get a different environment for each record. It's really important, and you can never get the same thing twice either. So I thought it'd be really special to go somewhere and have a little adventure. So we did. We went to Australia, and it came out really well. Just play the last chorus for me. Can you sing that over the last chorus as well? Sing a chorus for me. We'd rehearsed for about 2 weeks in this dingy rehearsal room that wasn't very glamorous. It was really this horrible little rehearsal room with cockroaches and stuff, and it was pouring down with rain for 2 weeks. So it didn't really feel like the Australian dream. We were in this crappy little rehearsal room. I don't know how you could do it. We want to start singing the Here's One for the Radio over that last chorus somehow. You could change the melody slightly. Radio! Good one. Here's one for the radio. Here's one for the radio. Here's one for the radio.
What I loved about that song was that it was written about us, about our band. Because, I think it was at a time when it's like, well, what do we want to sing about? And I think maybe that's why it didn't really resonate straight away with the guys the first time I played it to them.
It just shows there's a time and a place for the right song and the right sound, isn't there? Guitar music, it was hard to get on the radio. And it pissed us off. We was like, why?
We were kind of out of our angsty years of, singing about love and our failed relationships. But we still had a lot of passion and angst and emotions about our band. So that's why I feel like it resonates still now with us and our fans, because whenever we sing it, we're literally singing about everyone that's there, everyone who kind of cares about our band. So.